Das ist ein Meeresarm und kein See.
Vancouver Island is also the land of the so-called First Nation, the land of the Indians, and indigenous people. In the city of Duncan, about an hour north of Vancouver, the First Nation is thought of as totem piles scattered throughout the city. We participate in a public tour.
Celebrate. Top figure is Eagle. Eagle's a guardian spirit. And don't forget. Right below that is a man holding a canoe. And that man symbolizes the First Nations. Below him, with the beard, is William Duncan, the farmer who this community is named after. So this side is colloquial style. This side is Howden style. And green is the frog, and the frog is a symbol of the carver's mother's family. So he inherited the frog symbol from his mother, and he also inherited the frog dance from his mother's family.
The first cedar totem was carved in 1986, and since then the number of these posts has risen to over 40. However, we must adamantly recognize that it is difficult for us to get closer to this culture immediately. If one reads into the history and the representation of these totems, one understands the interpretation of the sculptures better.
And below we got Aqua, who's another guardian spirit. But she's different than Thunderbird, because Thunderbird, he comes and goes. People pray to him, he comes down in times of trouble, and he comes and helps. Dunaqua, she's always around. So Dunaqua is a guardian spirit who protects communities. And one community she protects is Alert Bay.
Often an eagle sits at the head of a totem. He symbolizes the freedom of thought in Indian culture. The owl, like everywhere else in the world, speaks for wisdom. The raven stands for the light in the world and the possibility to change. The whale is repeatedly depicted as a killer whale. He represents the cruelty of the sea. The whale eats the salmon. He thereby takes the basis of existence for man. However, in connection with other animals and humans at a totem, he also represents the possibility of peaceful coexistence between humans and animals. In the mythology of the Indians, the bear shows the strength and willpower. Often people are also part of these piles. The man who respects nature, and is to live in harmony with it. This was now the introduction to the culture of the Indians in a rush. And now it goes further north. Our next stop is Chemenaus, only 10 kilometers away. After a short rain shower, the sun comes out now. The view of the sea and the offshore islands is fantastic. Much more fantastic is the art in this very small place. It is projected onto the 1 or 2 story colored houses by paintings. When the wood industry fell on the ground in the 1980s, paintings were started on the houses. Artists came from all over the world and immortalized themselves on the walls. Since then, the place is also a tourist magnet. A lady in the museum told us that the wood industry is back in a critical situation, and the workers have been on strike for 3 months. The sawmills are to be closed because the price of wood dropped drastically and thus the sale was no longer profitable. Back to the pictures, they mostly tell of old days. Thus, scenes from the war are shown as well as in the fields or in the sawmill. Often, the hard-working person is in the foreground. Old steam locomotives as well as ships show the beginning of industrialization. A few pictures also show modern art. However, only a few pictures are related to the people of the so-called First Nation. It is amazing that the pictures are so colorful and faintly faded, although they are exposed to wind and weather. Presumably the surface is treated.
Ohne alte Holzbrücke.
Nanaimo is the second largest city on Vancouver Island. It is harbour and industrial city. We park near the harbour and go down to the sea. A nice park, a long promenade and a jetty for yachts welcome us. Now in the evening the hobby fishermen are standing here and are catching crabs.
Es riecht richtig nach Meer, gell?
How many are you left?
Not all crabs are the size to get on the table.
Yeah.
They have to go back to the sea.
Keeper, huh?
Yeah, he's a keeper. Right on. Good for you.
That's awesome.
Ja, die müssen wahrscheinlich gemessen werden, gell? Von der Größe her. Die dürfen sie dann nicht nehmen. Ui.
The city and the promenade make a deserted impression. But the arrival and the departure of the small seaplanes is very active. Tonight we stay here and tomorrow we will go to the west coast.